Assalamu alaikum dear students, and a very good morning to all of you. Hope all of you are doing well. So kids, welcome to the class again. As you all know, I am your science teacher and my name is Nida Sahar. So dear students, today we are going to start our new chapter, How Light Works. The main points that we are going to discuss in this chapter include bouncing of light, how an eye works. We are also going to discuss about different materials like transparent, translucent and opaque materials. And we are also going to talk about what type of things make shadow. So let's begin. So students, here is the page from your book. This is page 103. How light works. Light is all around us. It can warn us of dangers. Anything which gives off light is a source of light. The sun is our most important source of light. Here you can see some sources of light. Sun is the most important and natural source of light, right? Anything that gives us light is a source of light. It can be a fire, it can be a candle, it can be a torch, bulb, anything that gives us light is a source of light, but sun is our most important source of light, right? So kids, as this chapter is all about the light, we can see things around us because of light. Light is all around us and allows us to see the world. Without light, are you able to see anything? In the dark, in the darkness, in the night, in the dark room, can you see anything? No. Light makes us to see the world. Light is a form of energy which our sense of sight can detect. It is made up of electromagnetic radiation and travels in a straight path. Earth's natural light source is our sun, as we had discussed earlier, that the most important and the natural source of light is sun. So students, as I have mentioned earlier, that anything that gives off light is a source of light. Light comes from different sources called light sources. Our main natural light source is the sun. Other sources include fire, stars and man-made light sources such as light bulbs and torches. Right? So there are two types of sources, natural sources and artificial sources of light. Sun is the most important source of light. It is the natural source of light. Stars are also a natural source of light. And here you can see some artificial sources because they are made by men. That's why they are known as artificial sources. They include light bulb, candle and torch. So anything that gives off light is called the source of light, and there are two types of sources of light, natural sources and artificial sources. Clear? Okay, now again on page 103. So this is an experiment and you all have to perform this experiment. What happens when light falls on something? Okay, if we hold a mirror facing the book and shine a torch on the mirror, as you can see here in the picture, the boy is holding the mirror against the book and he is putting the light on the mirror. The book lights up. The light will bounce back on the book and the book will light up. You would be able to read the book. we can read the page. The light from the torch is hitting the mirror. The light from the torch is hitting the mirror, as you can see here. Then it is bouncing off the mirror and hitting the book, and then it is bouncing or reflecting back to the mirror, right, from the mirror, and it is hitting the book. Light bounces off mirrors, light reflects off the mirrors, right? Does light bounce off other things too? If we shine a torch on a white paper facing the book lights up again. This time the book does not light up that much. Only some light bounces off from the white paper. All the things around us are like the mirror in one way. Light bounces off them. In some cases more light bounces off, and in other cases less light bounces off. Okay, you all have to perform this experiment. You are going to sit in a dark room. You must be having a book and a torch and a mirror, right? Then you are going to switch on your torch and you are going to put the light of the torch into the mirror, and then you will see the light will bounces off from the mirror into the book, and you would be able to read whatever is written in the book. You would be able to read the book in the dark room. You are not directly putting the torch light into the book, but the light is reflecting back from the mirror onto the book, and then you can read the book. Okay? So kids, as I have mentioned earlier, that when light rays falls on something, they bounce off. This bouncing back of light is called reflection of light. The bouncing back of light rays is called reflection of light. When light rays from light sources hit objects, they bounce off, and this bouncing off of light is called reflection of light. Most surfaces are rough. When you look at them very closely, this means light rays bounce off in many different directions and angles. The light that bounces off is called reflected light. Clear? Now I'm sure you know the meaning of reflection. The bouncing back of light when they hit any surface is called reflection of light. Okay, now again on page 103, here are some points that you must know. Do you know? Light travels in straight lines. The rays of light travels in straight lines. Whenever you stand in a path of light, it will make a shadow, right? So light, that thing proves that light travels in straight lines. Sunbeams are light rays coming from the sun. What are sunbeams? Sunbeams are the light rays coming from the sun. Okay, light appears colorless, but it is in fact consists of 7 different colors. Yes, students, light is made up of 7 different colors. Let's see what these colors are. The 7 colors of light are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So kids, how does light travel? Light travels in straight lines. And how do we know that light travels in straight lines? For this, we have to do an experiment. Here you can see there 2 children are trying to see this candle with hoses. The boy is holding a straight hose and the girl is holding a bent hose. The boy would be able to see the candle because his hose is straight and light travels in straight line. Now try looking through a bent hose. The light from the candle cannot reach your eyes. This shows that light does not bend but travels in straight lines. Clear? So light travels in straight lines. So students, what is the color of light? Light appears colorless, but it is made up of 7 different colors. And what these colors are? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Light is made up of 7 different colors. Okay kids, now on page 104. How an eye works. So kids, as you all know that we are able to see because of our eyes, and when light bounces off from anything, we are able to see the images, and we see things because of our eye. It means that light enables us to see things, and we can see things with our eye. Now let's see how an eye works. Our eyes form tiny images of the world around us. These images are formed on a small screen in each eye. This screen is called the retina. Light goes into the eye through a small opening. This opening is called the pupil, which looks black. Here you can see an eye. Here you can see in the eyeball there is a tiny black dot. This is the opening of eye through which light enters into the eye, right? And this part is known as pupil. The part around the pupil is colored. This part is called the iris. And this part, that colored part of our eye, is called iris. The light goes through the pupil to the lens and then forms an image on the screen of our eye. People with good eyesight are able to read writing when it is close to their eyes. They can also see things far away. Okay students, before getting into further details, let's watch a video about the structure and working of an eye.
Okay, so your eyes are organs of the body that allow you to see, but how do they work? How do your eyes allow you to see? Here is a drawing of the different parts of the human eye. We're going to find out how these parts work together to help you see. The first part of your eye we're going to learn is the iris. The iris right here on this drawing. The iris is the colored area of your eye. So when you're looking at someone, the colored part of their eye is called the iris right here. Now you might have noticed in the middle of the iris is a black dot. That black dot is called the pupil. The pupil. The pupil is a black dot right in the middle of the iris. Here is where the pupil is on this drawing of your eye. Now the pupil is a hole in the middle of your iris that takes in light. Your iris has muscles in it that makes your pupil either larger or smaller depending on how much light is in the area around you. If it's dark in the room, your pupils will be larger. If it's bright in the room, your pupils will be smaller because your eyes will not want to take in as much light. Light goes inside of the pupil. Then, right behind the pupil is a part of your eye called the lens. The lens. The lens focuses the light that comes into the pupil. To review, your pupil takes in light. It's a hole in the middle of your iris that takes in light. and your lens focuses the light that just came into your pupil. Remember, the lens is just behind the pupil, so they work together. You know, the light comes into the pupil and the lens focuses the light. The final part of the eye we're going to look at today, look with your eyes, is the retina. The retina is in the back of the eye. The retina turns the light into electrical pulses that will get sent to the brain. The light that was focused through the lens goes to the retina where it turns into an image. That image is sent through these electrical pulses, and then your brain figures out exactly what you're seeing. All of these parts work together so well and so quickly that we don't even realize it's happening. We just see the images of what we see right away, immediately. We don't realize that the pupil's taking in light, the lens is focusing the light, the retina on the back of the eye is turning that light into images that our brain can figure out. We just see everything moment by moment, but when you realize how complex and how many parts there are to your eyes, it's like, wow! I'm so glad that our eyes have all these parts because it is so cool that we get to see.
So here is the page from your book. This is the structure of an eye. First part I'm going to read about is the pupil. Pupil is the small opening through which light enters. It looks like a black spot in the middle of the eye. Here you can see this is the small hole that is known as pupil through which the light enters into the eye. The next part is the iris. Iris is the colored part of eye around the pupil. It controls the opening and closing of pupil. Here you can see this part is known as iris. This is the colored part of our eye and it controls the opening and closing of the pupil. Right after the iris there is a part called lens. Here you can see the lens, and lens focuses the light to form an image onto the kind of a screen at the back of eye. This is the lens and it focuses the light that is entering from the pupil to form the image on the screen of our eye. And at the back there is a screen where images are formed. This part is known as retina, right? So you have learned about the four parts of our eye, that is pupil, iris, retina and lens. Clear? So here is another colorful diagram of an eye, the structure of an eye, and we have discussed the four main parts of the eye, that is pupil, iris, lens and retina. So kids, now you tell me, what is the pupil? Pupil is the small opening through which light enters. It looks like a black spot in the middle of an eye, right? And what is iris? Iris is the colored part around the pupil. It controls the opening and closing of the pupil, right? And right after the iris there is a lens that focuses the light to form an image onto the back of the eye, on the screen of the eye. And that screen at the back of the eye is called retina. Clear? Okay kids, now it's your turn. You have to read the chapter thoroughly from page number 103 till 104, and you have to underline the main points. And I'm sure after watching this video you would be able to tell, how does light travel? What is the color of light? What happens to the size of your pupil in the darkness and brightness? Can you tell the main parts of an eye? What are the main sources of light? What is meant by reflection of light? So kids, that is all for the today's lecture, and I'm sure everything is well understood. I'm going to see you in the next class. Till then, all of you stay home, stay safe and study hard. Take care and Allah Hafiz and keep smiling.